let's start with a very sticky situation that
Mm.
happened this week. And I want to get your take on it because I like how everyone's just believing this because I sure don't. But Dodgers versus Mets, we had the return of Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer hadn't faced the Dodgers since he had a tired arm in 2021 playoffs against the in the NLCS against the Braves, and he chose to not pitch in game 6, I believe. And he, basically not only cost the Dodgers, in my opinion, that playoff series, but also cost Walker Buehler his arm.
He has been the man for the Braves.
1-2 pitch on the way. Driven to right field, out there towards the corner. That is a fair ball home run! A 3-run homer by Eddie Rosario. He just electrified this crowd, and the Braves have a 4-1 lead.
Because Walker Buehler was never the same after that, and he's recovering from Tommy John surgery. But Max Scherzer was back on the mound, and it was a very hyped matchup because, like I said, they hadn't seen each other since 2021. And Max Scherzer eventually gets tossed in the 4th inning for having sticky substance on his hand.
Glove switched earlier, and they're looking at the second glove, and they were looking at his pitching hand as well.
Well, what Cuzzy was telling, and Bellino got involved, is that even though it's a new glove, it feels like the old glove. Or did Max go back to the old glove and try to take whatever substance was on it or on his hand off the glove?
And subsequently, after all the interviews he did, and he was very adamant that it was rosin and sweat. It was rosin and sweat. You can see with the replays as he's talking to the umpire, he's talking about I swear to you, and then he said I swear on my kids' lives.
I don't get it. Yes, when you use sweat and rosin, your hand is sticky, but I don't get how I get ejected when I'm in front of MLB officials doing exactly what you want and being deemed my hand's too sticky when I'm using legal substance. I do not understand that.
What did Phil say after you clearly explained that to him on the field?
He said my hand's too sticky, and I said, I swear on my kid's life, I'm not using anything else. This is sweat and rosin, sweat and rosin. I keep saying it over and over, and they touch my hand, they say it's sticky. And I yes, it is, because it's sweat and rosin.
That it's rosin and sweat, but he was subsequently thrown out. And then the umpires, after the game, released their statement saying that Scherzer's hands got progressively stickier every time they checked him, to the point where once he got ejected, they touched each other's hands after they touched Scherzer's, and there was still sticky substance on their hands in subsequent innings after. Baseball has now, I believe, given Max Scherzer a 10-game suspension, which originally he said he was going to appeal, but now looks like he's not going to appeal it. So he's going to basically miss 2 starts, I believe. Just give me your take and your thoughts on Max Scherzer getting tossed for sticky substance.
So he is now the 3rd player to be suspended with this whole new issue.
Right.
So my take is, what I heard was, after one of the innings, he had to switch his glove because his glove was too sticky.
Yeah, that was the 3rd.
Yeah. And then the next inning he gets tossed.
Right.
And then about his whole appeal. So what I heard was he was going to appeal until he heard that it wasn't going to be a third party person that he was going to give his case. It was just going to be to the MLB. So he decided not to. So that raises some questions, like, why do you need it to be a third party? Like, yeah, everyone knows who you are. You're at the top of the current Rushmore of pitchers in the league.
Right.
So were you going to try to use clout and get out of it somehow? Try to bribe? Who knows? Good for MLB to crack down on it, even with the superstars. Like, I feel bad if he's telling the truth, but guess what? If the umpires are saying after every inning it got worse, then you ain't trying to clean it up. There's something there.
Right.
Something there. So I I wish instead if it was, see, I feel like, okay, it's a 10 game, it's drastic. Like, oh, it's 10 games. So what? He misses 2 starts.
Hmm.
So is that really anything? He was missing a few paychecks. Like, why don't they start holding them like 5 game suspension instead of 10 games, but 5 games that you're going to pitch? So they're going to be out a month. At that point, guess what? Your ownership team, your management team is going to make sure you're not being stupid if you are the elite pitcher.
Right. I'm going to say that, originally, once Scherzer's comments came out after the game and all of baseball social media, Twitter, Instagram were saying like, oh, umpires are doofs. Like, clearly it was rosin and sweat. Like, and then, they were following the narrative that Scherzer was given where he was like, he
I
said,
and that's what sorry. Find it funny that they're like, it was rosin and sweat. Like we were out there too, examining the hand. Like, and that's in our expert opinion.
right. Um, it was Scherzer came out and said, like, why would I be dumb enough to, if I'm being checked, to make, to still apply a foreign substance if I know they're checking me, right? And I just want to give people a little pushback on this statement because let's think about this here, right? Let's go. We're both married, but at one point we weren't, right? So everyone's like, the whole joke about like if you're gonna cheat, like if you have a girl in your phone, like put her under the pizza guy and whatever, because then your wife's not gonna notice. But in reality, your significant other, wife, whatever, they actually would check that because like, why do you have a pizza guy's number like in your contacts, whatever, right? Right. But what they wouldn't check is just a number that's literally has a girl name. You can use that excuse for anything. It's like, oh, that's Jason. I call him Jasmine, right? And I feel like if if Scherzer was trying to cheat, that is one of the best defenses ever. I don't need to do this. I know they're checking me.
Yeah,
In his mind, he's like, they're not going to keep constantly going overboard with this because it's me. So I'm going to keep. I feel like what he would do was he would go and wash off, and then he would just reapply, like, or even like in him, quote unquote, washing off. I think he probably barely washed off his hands and then just went to reapply whatever he had, like the same amount. And of course, it's getting increasingly stickier and stickier as he goes out there. But I think in his mind, he was thinking, oh, as long as I go out there, touch the rosin bag, because if you ever see Scherzer pitch, he does this a lot. He goes to the back of his neck because he's sweating. He'll constantly lick his fingers to get moisture and everything like that. So of course, if you mix that with rosin, it would create something sticky. But they're saying that there was no way this had to be rosin because his hands were so sticky. So that's point number one. Point number two, I'm also glad that baseball is choosing to not even for Max Scherzer, bend to this. They're like, no, we we did our own check, our own analysis. We found that your hands were a little too sticky. We told you to do certain things, you didn't do it, and now you got thrown out. Now you're suspended because if you want to get into like conspiracy theory land about why he didn't want to appeal, Max Scherzer is very vocal. He's been very vocal the last 2 seasons when it comes to the CBA, or this is it CBA or CBT?
CBA,
The CBA
collective
talk,
bargaining agreement. Yeah,
right? The CBA talks in baseball. He's been uh a very vocal player rep for the union. So there could be some, if you want to get into his mind, there could be some like, oh, baseball's kind of out to get me because whatever, right? But I highly doubt that. I just feel like I think he tried to pull one over on people. He got caught. And now you have to kind of do what you have to do, which is deny, deny, deny to save face. But do I think it's a big deal in the long run? No. I mean, like Max Scherzer with sticky stuff, not sticky stuff, he's still he's almost 40 or is 40. He's still getting
yeah,
lit up regardless. Like
yeah.
it's like if he's doing it to get more grip on the ball, and then I believe David Vassay for the Dodgers after the game, they actually checked his spin rates and they were all the same from like this year so far. So it wasn't like there was something crazy going on. But I just feel like at the end of it all, I think it's better for this to happen rather than for baseball to just go like, oh, you're Max Scherzer, you're definitely not cheating, just turn a blind eye.